A beautiful morning. We start our meetings with a public comment period. And so if you would like to speak to the county board, please step forward to the microphone. Tell us your name and address first, and then please limit your comments to 2 minutes.
Good morning. My name is Lawrence Dose. I'm the Director of Catholic Cemeteries for the Diocese of Winona-Rochester, and I'm representing the Hermits of St. Mary of Carmel on their request to establish a cemetery at their hermitage. So I'm available here if there's any questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in the audience that would like to speak to the county board? And if you are participating in this meeting via Ring Central over the internet, you are also able to participate. Please unmute yourself. Ms. Cordray?
Yes, can you hear me?
Again.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And this is Amy Cordray, 26006 County Road 9, Winona. And good morning, Winona County Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you and to have you listen and consider what I have to say today. It is dangerous and tragic when folks in power rely only on their own opinions, limited experience, and refusal to examine an important issue from all sides. It's dangerous and tragic when folks in power deny the power of being listened to by open minds. No one individual can possibly be the smartest person in the room on an issue, myself included. A willingness and ability to consider other opinions and facts are the qualities of good leaders. I ask that each of you demonstrate those qualities when it comes to the critical issue of the Winona County Manure Digester Project proposed by a subsidiary of Shell Oil, Nature's Energy. Since the project has immediate and long-range impacts for our citizens and our environment, I ask that the project receive your engaged attention and effort. I have seen you demonstrate this leadership before, and I have confidence that you will do that again, and I thank you for that. I ask that you do that, it receive your engaged attention. Thank you for your time and attention on this beautiful day. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in our public comment period, either here in the room or over Ring Central? I'll ask 2 more times. Is there anyone here in the audience or participating over the internet that would like to participate, that would like to speak in our public comment period? And for the final time, if you would like to share your thoughts with us, please step forward or unmute yourself and participate in the public comment period. Hearing none, public comment is closed and we move on. Next agenda item is approval of some minutes.
I'll move to approve the county board March 28th and the closed session March 28th.
Second.
Commissioner Ward has moved. Commissioner Olson has seconded approval of the county board minutes from the county board meeting of March 28th and the closed session of March 28th of 2023. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is anyone opposed? Say nay. Motion carries. We have some committee minutes to acknowledge.
I'll acknowledge receipt of the Board of Adjustment February 16th and the Planning Commission February 16th.
Second.
Commissioner Ward has moved. Commissioner Olson has seconded. Acknowledge receipt of the approved committee minutes for the Board of Adjustment and Planning Commission from February 16th of 2023. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. If anyone's opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We are now to our consent comments and approval of the agenda. Commissioner Ward.
I would like a separate vote on 6.5. And then I just have one announcement, please.
Okay. And we'll make 6.5 7.00. Commissioner Olson.
Nothing for me.
I have some committee reports. County Attorney Sonneman or Administrator Holte?
I have nothing, Madam Chair.
Nothing for me. Okay, so there are some adjustments to our agenda. And to move forward, we would need to approve that.
Move to approve the consent comment, agenda as amended.
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Olson has moved and Commissioner Ward has seconded approval of the agenda as it was amended. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. If anyone's opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Administrator Holte, could you read the consent business into the record for us?
Absolutely. 6.1, approve conditional use permit for Hermits of St. Mary of Carmel Hermitage. 6.2, approve interim use permit for Brandon and Nicole Hammond. 6.3, approve professional service agreement with Amber Converse for WIC services. 6.4, approve lease agreement with Trimble R12 GPS survey equipment. 6.6, approve resolution for regional transit support. 6.7, confirm payment of disbursement.
I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda if the body so feels it's appropriate.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Olson has moved and Commissioner Ward has seconded approval of the consent business as it was read. Is there any further discussion?
Just a comment. I appreciate the gentleman that came. Did he leave already? Oh, okay. That he came and the approval of the cemetery, which it is a beautiful. It's unfortunately it's a beautiful place, but it's gated and we can't all take advantage of the beauty they have because it's out in the country and on the ridge. And I do greatly appreciate the Hammonds for doing business in Winona County. That particular one is the spouse is doing a hair, for people to know, is doing a hair business salon on their farm, and it's great to see young people being able to pursue their dreams of having their own business and doing that. So I appreciate that.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval to the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
I
Is anyone opposed? Say nay. Okay, consent agenda is passed. We move on to item 7.00, which used to be 6.5, approve supervisor association amendment for 2023 through 2024. This would be on page 66 of the packet.
Yeah, just I need a separate vote. It's I feel another lost opportunity to possibly put in some performance measures into our contracts and into our labor scales. And I'm hoping with the interviews for the upcoming HR assistant county administrator, we can possibly put a question in there, their philosophy and their thoughts about that. So I just need a separate vote on that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Move to approve the amendment 6.5.
I will second.
7. No.
I'll second it. So Commissioner Olson has moved. Commissioner Meyer has seconded approval of item 7.00, approve supervisor association amendment for 23 through 24. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Say nay.
Okay.
Okay, does the motion carry?
It does not, because it's less than a quorum. I mean, you need 3 votes for it to pass. So because there's 5 commissioners. So, yeah.
We have an open seat. Well,
Yeah,
bring it
and-
back, put it on the agenda
Yeah,
next
Commissioner Vagley is-
meeting.
Okay, motion fails. Do we need a motion to table it and bring it back next, or can it come back on its own?
I can just bring it back.
All right, we're now on to item 7.1, which is to receive a presentation from the Crime Victim Services Office and approve, maybe, a resolution proclaiming National Crime Victim Week, Rights Week of, in the dates April 23rd through the 29th of 2023.
Madam Chair, I would like to introduce Kelly Wooden, who's our Crime Victim Services Coordinator out of my office, the Winona County Attorney's Office. She'll be giving the presentation on the Crime Victim Services Office and the resolution we're asking the board to adopt, as well as describe what the National Crime Victims Week is. And then following that, Ms. Wooden will remain up there, and Danielle Swedberg of the Family and Children's Center will join her to then present on the 7.2, which is quite related in some ways, but talking about the Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So.
Thank you, Ms. Wooden. Please proceed.
Thank you. Well, good morning. My name is Kelly Wooden. I am the Victim Services Coordinator in the Winona County Attorney's Office. Every year in April, the federal government's Office for Victims of Crime helps lead local communities throughout the country in their annual observances of National Crime Victims' Rights Week, which this year is April 23rd through April 29th. The 2023 National Crime Victims' Rights Week theme is Survivor Voices, Elevate, Engage, Effect Change. This theme calls upon communities to amplify the voices of survivors and commit to creating an environment where survivors have the confidence that they will be heard, believed, and supported. The Winona County Attorney's Crime Victim Services Office will be raising awareness in our community of National Crime Victims' Rights Week by partnering with the Winona Public Library and having a week-long book display of survivor stories. Local author Danielle Lycum will be donating signed copies of her books, 4 Pounds of Pressure and Another 4 Pounds of Pressure, which just recently came out. These books will be displayed and there will be drawings allowing the public the chance to win them. Additionally, information about National Crime Victims' Rights Week will be available along with resource information. Minnesota law requires each county attorney's office in the state to notify victims of crimes prosecuted by the respective offices. Through its Crime Victim Services Office, the Winona County Attorney's Office meets those statutory obligations for notification and ensuring the rights of victims in our cases. This brochure, Crime Victims' Rights, is provided to each victim at the beginning of a case and helps to give them an understanding of their rights. I brought a copy of this brochure for each of you so you can see what rights exist for crime victims. If it's okay, can I just?
Sure.
Pass it?
Thanks.
We assist crime victims in navigating and understanding the criminal justice system while a case is prosecuted by the county attorney's office. Services can include court accompaniment, notification of court hearings, notification of plea proposals, assistance with victim impact statements, and assistance with obtaining restitution. Most of the cost of the Crime Victim Services Office is provided through a State of Minnesota Office of Justice Programs Prosecutorial Services Grant. The rest of the cost is provided by Winona County. We thank you for this supplemental funding to support our work. The Winona County Attorney's Office opened 662 criminal cases in 2022. Of those, 340 had one or more victims, a 5% increase from last year. During 2022, Winona County Victim Services provided information about the criminal justice system process and hearings nearly 2,700 times, more than 30% increase from the year before, when we had just over 2,000 recorded contacts. Victim Services provided assistance with victim impact statements 196 times, almost a 5-fold increase from last year. provided assistance with restitution requests 142 times, almost triple from last year, and accompanied victims to court proceedings or prosecutor meetings 67 times, almost triple from the year before. The Winona County Attorney's Crime Victims Services Office is dedicated to assisting victims and survivors in the aftermath of crime. We ask that the Winona County Board of Commissioners reaffirm Winona County's commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime by proclaiming April 23rd through April 29th, 2023, National Crime Victims' Rights Week. If there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to me in the Victim Services Office in the Winona County Attorney's Office. Thank you for your time.
Hold on.
Commissioner Ward, do you have a question?
Those are some staggering numbers. Is that a local uptick or is it a national uptick or, I mean, I don't feel like crime is on that much of a rise around here, but you're giving some very alarming statistics. So what's going on?
Maybe
All
I
right.
can address
Yeah.
that. I think more people are utilizing the Victim Services Office, not necessarily that our numbers are criminal.
Crime is up.
Crime is up, but that people are feeling more comfortable using the services of our crime victims office. And once they hear about Kelly and her work, which is extraordinary, I mean, she's very hands-on in a very professional way with our crime victims. And these are crime victims of cases that our office prosecutes. It's not crime victims for, Olmsted or Houston County or whatever. But so I think people are feeling more, as Kelly mentioned, we send that brochure out, and we also send a letter out every time there's a crime victim case, and they have a choice as to how much they want to utilize the resources of our office. I mean, they can, follow the case very closely, or they can just kind of be on the fringe. But so I think there's more utilization of our services, but not necessarily an uptick in crime. I mean, we did see crime rates go up during the pandemic, particularly in domestic assaults and criminal sexual conduct cases. But that was statewide too. So, I mean, the pandemic had some other or challenging, let's say, consequences. So, but no, we haven't seen this dramatic rise in crime. So,
Okay, so it's just people using the service.
yeah, I think.
And do you have, so you mentioned two things, the sexual assault and the domestic. So do you break it down? Do you have a breakdown of where these numbers are coming
Yeah,
from?
we do.
Okay, you can
Cases.
provide that and
Mhm.
such. So, I mean, again, from thinking of a preventative model versus a reactive model. I mean, this is reaction, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And if we could do anything more in a preventative model,
And we are, we're doing a
With
lot
your-
of preventative services.
right? So we should put you out of business is my goal.
Well, we'd all
would
like to be out of business.
Yeah, I'd like to put you out
yeah.
of business. I wouldn't
So-
like to see these numbers increasing. I'd like to see them
Yeah,
decreasing.
But I mean, it is by law that we do this, but we would also, as county attorney, I would do this just out of the sheer fact that we want to help these folks get through a very traumatic experience. Particularly, I mean, Kelly mentioned the library program, and the person who has those books is one of our crime victims from a couple of years ago now,
Mhm. Yeah,
in
a
a
few years
very, very, how should I, it was a criminal sexual conduct case that was just horrific. So,
So this is all kind of towards that kind of, you don't, say if somebody's been defrauded or, cybersecurity
yeah.
is theft, property damage, does
that's
that
the same.
apply?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any
thank
any
you.
victim of crime.
Yeah.
Okay, any crime.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. And
Because I
some
think fraud-
have more needs than others. Obviously, there are
Right.
some that I hear from quite frequently, and then at times I never hear. I may not hear very little from a
Sure.
victim. So,
Well, it seems like elderly fraud is increasing.
mhm.
It's always been there, but in fact, we started a program years ago when I became county attorney on elder fraud and abuse. And we work with, I know I saw Karen Sanis, there she is over there, elder they have a unit on working with adults, and that includes elder abuse. So
Internet crimes.
internet crimes as
Mhm.
well, and cyber. In fact, I'm sending one of our staff to cybersecurity and internet crimes, and in terms of training. So yep,
Okay.
keeps changing.
All right. Okay.
Any
So
other
we have the
questions?
resolution. We'd ask the board to consider adopting that. It's in your materials on page 75, I believe. Yeah.
Move to approve the resolution.
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Olson has moved and Commissioner Ward has seconded approval of the resolution in our packet. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, say nay. Resolution is passed, and I'm going to read it. So this is resolution for 2023 National Crime Victims' Rights Week, which will be April 23rd through the 29th. Whereas the term victim is more than just a label and has legal standing and protections that go with it, and whereas Victims' Rights Acts passed here in Minnesota and at the federal level guarantee victims the right to meaningfully participate and use their voice in the criminal justice process. And whereas victim service providers, advocates, law enforcement officers, attorneys, and other allied professionals can help survivors find their justice by enforcing these rights. And whereas the right to provide an impact statement ensures that victims' voices are considered in court during the sentencing and, when applicable, restitution processes. And whereas including and elevating the voices of survivors makes certain that they are heard and seen and creates a path to foraging and sustaining community trust. And whereas engaging survivors creates responses and services that are credible, meaningful, and centered on individual needs. And whereas survivors' lived experience can serve as a catalyst for implementing innovative programs, shifting existing programs in new directions, and changing policies or practices that prevent survivors from accessing services or pursuing justice. And whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week provides an opportunity to recommit and listen to crime survivors in every space where decisions are made that could impact them. And whereas this year's theme is Survivor Voices, Elevate, Engage, Affect Change, and calls upon communities to amplify the voices of survivors and commit to creating an environment where survivors have the confidence that they will be heard, believed, and supported. And whereas Winona County Crime Victim Services Office of the Winona County Attorney's Office is dedicated to amplifying the voices of survivors and creating an environment where survivors have the confidence that they will be heard, believed, and supported. Now, therefore, we, the Winona County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the week of April 23rd through 29th, 2023 as Crime Victims' Rights Week, reaffirming Winona County, Minnesota's commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime during National Crime Victims' Rights Week and throughout the year, and expressing our sincere gratitude and appreciation for those community members, victim service providers, and criminal justice professionals who are committed to improving our response to all victims of crime so that they may find relevant assistance, support, justice, and peace. Thank you. Next item is 7.2, which is to receive a presentation from Sexual Assault Interagency Council and approve potentially a resolution proclaiming April 2023 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Organizing. Oh, I think I'm okay. Just gonna make sure I've got it all here in the order I want. Well, good morning again. I'm Kelly Wooden. In addition to being the Victim Services Coordinator in the Winona County Attorney's Office, I'm also the coordinator of the Winona County Sexual Assault Interagency Council, SAIC for short. The Winona County SAIC team is one of 12 teams across the state of Minnesota. The team formed in 1998 and is continually working on improving the community's response to sexual assault cases. SAIC's mission is to coordinate an effective interagency and community response to sexual assault, serving all victims and seeking justice. The SAIC team includes various agencies who respond to incidents of sexual assault. These agencies include law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, human and social service professionals, victim advocates, healthcare professionals, and local university staff. The council strives to improve the criminal justice system's response to sexual assault. The council works together by following a protocol used as a guide to assist those who respond to sexual assault. Currently, the SAIC team consists of representatives from the Advocacy Center of Winona, Family and Children's Center, Gunderson Health, Goodview Police Department, Lewiston Police Department, Minnesota Department of Corrections, the Minnesota Coalition Against Sexual Assault, SEMCAT Clinic, St. Charles Police Department, who I'd quickly like to give a shout out to, who's Chief Palaise showed up here today, the Winona County Attorney's Office, Winona County Sheriff's Office, Winona County Health and Human Services, Winona Health, Winona Police Department, and Winona State University. The Winona County SAIC and Protocol Project are hosted by the Winona County Attorney's Office. Technical assistance is provided by the Sexual Violence Justice Institute, a program of the Minnesota Coalition Against Sexual Assault. Project funding is provided by the Office of Justice Programs, a division of the Department of Public Safety. The SAIC team meets monthly and discusses various topics related to sexual assault. Last year, the team's main project was to update the response protocol, which was accomplished and looks like this. This is our binder. This protocol can be found on the Winona County Attorney's Office website at SAIC's designated tab. The updated version isn't there yet, but will be coming soon. In addition to the response protocol, you will also find these documents on the website. There's a community resource guide and a sexual assault information packet. I made copies for each of you of these documents along with SAIC's, we have a brochure too. So, sorry, Daniel, I'm gonna make you page through here and find them. It should be at the front. So in addition, I'm sorry, I lost my track. So Daniel, hold on. Or you got them? No, you're good. You're good. You're good. No, you're good. You're good. They're right up there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Definitely so
Yeah.
organized.
They should just be, yeah, all together.
Thank you.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. What's the next one? Yeah. Well, that'll go with you though. So my fellow team member is here, Danielle Swedberg from Family and Children's Center. She will now provide you with some information regarding Sexual Assault Awareness Month and what SAIC is doing to recognize that. Thank you.
Hi, I am Danielle Swedberg with Family and Children's Center and a member of the SAIC team here in Winona County. Sexual Assault Awareness Month is in April. It's nationally recognized, and this is the 22nd year of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The theme this year of Sexual Assault Awareness is drawing connections. Prevention demands equality, working with communities, organizations, and institutions to change ourselves and the system surrounding us to build racially equity and fair responses to all of those. And one of the things I want to mention is that Sexual Assault Awareness Month also looks at prevention, not just the response to that. So I think it's important to recognize that as a team, we definitely look at the response and how we manage sexual assaults, but we're also looking at what we can do in the Winona community to decrease that. As you had mentioned earlier, we would all love to work ourselves out of a job. So with that, Sexual Assault Awareness Month really looks at focusing on that prevention and how we're responding to treat all individuals equally. I think that also includes children, adults, and females and males as well, and making sure that as a community here in Winona, we are responsive to that. The color teal was chosen as the universal symbol to recognize sexual assault awareness and prevention. Wearing teal symbolizes that you are in connection and agree with promoting that in our community and with the individuals that we serve. Winona County Sexual Assault Awareness Interagency Council will hold their third annual Sexual Assault Awareness Walk at 3 p.m. on April 30th. Thank you. Left that up. We will be meeting at the Hiawatha Valley Marine Shelter between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, and we would encourage all who would like to participate to join us for that. Additionally, the Winona Advocacy Center is holding their Paint the Town Teal event on April 17th from 5 to 7 at Island City Brewery, and we hope that all of you can join us for that as well.
One more little thing to say. So thank you, Danielle. So I brought some teal ribbons like we're wearing, if you'd like to take one, by all means, and copies of the flyer for the awareness walk. If you'd like to take a couple of them, please feel free to do that. We hope you can join us in raising awareness in our community of sexual assault. We ask that the Winona County Board of Commissioners reaffirm SAIC's mission to coordinate an effective interagency and community response to sexual assault, serving all victims, and seeking justice by proclaiming the month of April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I would just like to note, in your agenda packet on page 77, we've provided a background of SAIC. And you recently had approved the grant that funds our program. It's a 2-year grant, $13,000 each year. So for operating on what I would consider a shoestring these days, and it's always been 13,000. They haven't changed that for years. The dedication and the volunteer hours, as well as the in-kind hours of all the professionals and community volunteers that make the SAIC and the protocol modifications successful. So, and I would also appreciate that Chief Pelez is here representing law enforcement, because it's very important that we have law enforcement's participation in this, because they're the first responders really to the scene. So we appreciate that. So once again, we would appreciate the board's review and approval of this resolution.
I'll move to approve the resolution.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Ward has moved and Commissioner Olson has seconded approval of the resolution proclaiming April 2023 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Kelly or Danielle, can I get you to read the resolution for us this time? I have a copy right here. Thank you.
So this is resolution number 2023.
Yep.
Sexual Assault Awareness Month proclamation, April 2023. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month calls attention to the fact that sexual violence is more prevalent than most people think and impacts every person in the community. Sexual Assault Awareness Month aims to raise public awareness about sexual violence and educate communities about how to prevent it. And whereas the theme of this year's Sexual Assault Awareness Month campaign is Drawing Connections, Prevention Demands Equity. The campaign calls on individuals, communities, organizations, and institutions to change the systems surrounding us to build equity and respect within the community, workplace, and the future our youth hold. And whereas April 2023 marks the official 22nd anniversary of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but even before its official declaration, Sexual Assault Awareness Month was about both awareness and prevention of sexual assault, harassment, and abuse. The two goals work in tandem. These two goals of awareness and prevention raise visibility about sexual assault and share how it can be prevented. And whereas the Winona County Sexual Assault Interagency Council, SAIC, is comprised of various agencies who respond to incidents of sexual assault. These agencies include law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, human and social service professionals, victim advocates, medical staff, and local university staff. SAIC strives to improve the criminal justice system's response to sexual assault, and by doing so incorporates the goals of Sexual Assault Awareness Month in SAIC's mission, which is to coordinate an effective interagency and community response to sexual assault, serving all victims and seeking justice. And whereas during Sexual Assault Awareness Month and throughout the entire year and into the future, individuals and communities can stop sexual assault before it happens by changing behaviors and promoting respect toward all individuals. Now, therefore, did I do that part?
Go
Okay.
for it.
We, the Winona County Board of Commissioners, join communities across the country in taking action to prevent sexual violence and proclaim April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month, noting that each day of the year is an opportunity to create change for the future.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your work on this issue. That concludes general business. So Commissioner Ward, you had an announcement.
Yeah, at a meeting yesterday of the Emergency Communications Board, we were made aware that it is, next week is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And no disrespect, but this is recognizing our dispatchers. We will, in the future, no longer be using the term dispatchers. They want to up standards and everything. But with that also comes, and there is legislation pending to change classifications that we'll have to look at in our own system of hiring to make them public safety communicators. With that also comes a higher standard of training and a number of different things that'll go along with that. But we are encouraged all, and I know it's been some time since I personally sat in on the public safety, use the right term.
The center.
Center, yeah. So we're all encouraged to, as commissioners to, and I know we've made significant changes as to the responsibilities those positions carry. So we want to recognize the public safety telecommuters today, I guess is the right term. So, and thank you for what they do. And please, in an act of prevention, don't get yourself in trouble. Don't have to use them. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.
I just had one announcement. The Winona, the Crescent, Mississippi One Watershed One Planning Committee met yesterday. Our plan has been approved by the state. I mentioned that at our last meeting, but we also approved then our first work plan for this year's allocation of $577,000. So it's available online. I have a copy here in case anyone's interested. And that's it.
Move to adjourn?
I'll second.
Commissioner Olson's moved and Commissioner Ward has seconded adjournment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, say nay. We are adjourned. I do not see Mr. Huerta. We have a committee of the board meeting and
Take a 5 minute.
yeah, the folks from ASAP are